In the last part, we were at the dawn of September 18th. Just as the sky started to light up, a wave of drums and military vehicles sounded out. It was like lightning that struck from the sky, piercing into the heart of Shiuli army and the civilians. With the sunlight of dawn penetrating through the morning fog, the grey army of Ui soldiers looked like an ocean of metal, spreading to beyond the ends of the grass plain. With their heavy footsteps advancing in unison, the thunderous booms sent chills up their spines as the trembling of the earth could be felt. The civilians let out a wave of shrieks in fears as they hugged together, cowering in the face of the vastness of the enemy, which made them further pale in comparison in terms of size, as though they were a spark of dust facing a waterfall. Oh my gosh, someone exclaimed. What is that? Had there been an avalanche? Get ready! A sharp cry echoed out from the opposite camp. Subsequently, rows of infantry soldiers dashed to the front of the cavalry troops and half knelt on the ground, ready to strike. Fire! Swoosh! The long spears pierced through the sky, taking down a group of birds which were flying by. Blood splattered in mid-air as feathers flew everywhere before the civilians had time to open their mouths to shout. The flurry of spears dashed towards their direction. Ear-piercing screams reverberated in the air like a tragic song of despair. The wire horse neighed madly as if they had been possessed. Organize your formations. Charge. Chu Xiao sat on her horse. As she stood amidst the battlefield, she raised the silver sword in her hands and dashed out. 5,000 troops from the Shiuli army followed neatly behind her. None of them hesitated or retreated, even though some of them felt fearful. He Xiao defended Chu Xiao as he stood beside her. Loudly he shouted, "Brothers, don't let them get close to the civilians." Charge! A shout to kill sounded out, stirring up the passion in the soldiers' bloodstreams. The opposite side was like a vast ocean. As the 5,000 of them dashed over, they were like a small wave, dashing towards their deaths. Everyone present was stunned, including the civilians of Yanbei, who were pleading for their lives in despair. The troops of Yanbei watching on them from the top of the Longin Pass. The elite troops of Ui, including Yuan Yang himself. No one expected Chu Xiao, who was thoroughly outnumbered, to clash head-on with Prince Yuan Yang's army of 100,000. The opposite side was like a living hell with the weapons the wee drops possessed. In that instant, everyone realized Chu Xiao's intentions.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time.
This piece of land was a flat, unsheltered piece of land. Chu Xiao did not have any tools to defend. If the wee drops reached the pass, the civilians would be dragged into the battle. By doing this, she wanted to protect the innocent people behind her.
We meant to be.
Synchronized war cry from the army of black. All force, prepare to charge. Kill the enemy. Another watery sounded out swiftly. The sea of grey body armors started to move as the soldiers steadied their war horses for battle. They streamed towards Chu Xiao's forces like an unstoppable flash flood.
Meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Split up, prepare for formation, Chu Xiao ordered. However, the entire Xiuli army formed up in one long line to welcome the wee drops. 5,000 soldiers stood side by side, defending Longyin Pass, which was behind them. The warriors were dressed in black body armors, as their red ensign hovered over their heads majestically under the sunlight. They raised their swords with both hands and put it in front of them, using both legs to control their horses. As they saw the large army advancing towards them, their expressions were calm like stones. This was the craziest way possible to commit suicide.
It's so beautiful, you and me.
As the dust flew up into the air, the wee army advanced close step by step. The breaths of their war horses could almost be felt. Boom! Finally, the two armies clashed as a storm broke out. Swords started to make contact with human flesh and other swords as the battle commenced.
Sometimes you need to go and take a step back.
The bloodshed had finally begun.
Around you, from a distance you can tell.
Thank you for staying with me. Subscribe and like the video to support me. Thank you.